Well, joining us is the Palestinian journalist Walid Batrawi. Walid, fighting continues, and now we hear that medical supplies are running low too.
Well, yes. I mean, we have been hearing reports coming from Gaza that the situation is very difficult. It's so dire. Medical supplies, hospitals. One hospital was shelled not last night, but the night before. Just last night, 7 members of the civil defense, the fire brigades who were rescuing Palestinians, have been killed in a missile attack. So the humanitarian situation in the Gaza Strip is deteriorating. I hear different stories. I have relatives who live in Khan Yunis. Khan Yunis is in the middle, or middle to the south of the Gaza Strip, where most of the people have been moved from the north to that area. They're basically 2 families, but they have around 100 people living with them. When you have people coming and living with you, you do not exactly know who is there. So they're all living under a very difficult situation. No water, no electricity. At night, it's a full blackout.
Wally, welcome to Talk Today. Thank you so much for joining us. And I think the world watches on at this potential humanitarian crisis and understands the importance of talking about it. I guess I want to start differently because I think myself, I'm 50, I learnt an awful lot about the Middle East in the last 2 weeks, probably than I knew. And I think a lot of people watching and listening would feel the same. You're in Ramallah on the West Bank. You're not inside Gaza. We hear that the Israelis have said you've got 24 hours to get out. There's 1.1 million people fleeing for their lives. Can I ask you, as a Palestinian, what was your reaction? And I want this side, if possible, Walid. What was your reaction when Hamas did what they did? When we saw the images and heard about the crimes that are ISIS-like, my friend, that Hamas carried out in terms of against children and women, notwithstanding what's the humanitarian crisis, that's a separate issue. What was the true Palestinians' response to what the terrorist organisation Hamas did 7 days ago?
Well, the first thing that caught my attention and caught the world's attention and everyone's attention was a surprise. We were really surprised. I've been to Gaza several times in the past. My last visit to Gaza was just about a month ago, and everything seemed to be very quiet. And even, I thought that the relations between Hamas and the Israelis and the Israeli government has been restored in a way or another. So, the first thing that it was a surprise, and we all thought that Israel has managed to contain Hamas and maintain security over the borders, especially with the past different Israeli military operations in the Gaza Strip. We thought that the power of Hamas has been diminished, but it was the opposite. So the first thing that we saw, that's a surprise, and we all knew what reaction would Israel take against Gaza, particularly against civilians.
So my question is, Walid, and you're so erudite, and I really do appreciate having the chance to talk to you. You say we thought that Israel had contained Hamas. Do I take from that a majority of Palestinian people would find Hamas's actions abhorrent?
Well, no, I cannot speak on behalf of the majority of the Palestinians. I think the most important thing now is to end this madness. And there will be time to hold everyone accountable in the future, because I think that all parties are to be held to account: Hamas, Israel, and the Palestinian Authority. The Gaza Strip has been under siege for 16 years. I've been covering the conflict in this area since 1991, and I haven't seen Gaza being a city or a strip that has life ever since. There was a little time of period when the Oslo Agreement was signed, but then there was the military escalation later on. We have seen since 2008 until today, we have seen 7 wars in Gaza. So everyone has to be held to account when all this madness is ending.
Walid, can you just talk to us a little bit about what's going on in Ramallah at the moment? You say there's been 14 deaths in the West Bank and 3 Israelis have been killed. What's the situation like where you are at present?
Well, yeah, I mean, over the weekend, now it's 16 Palestinians actually, because last night there was, 1 Palestinian killed in Jericho, closer to the borders with Jordan. So the situation in the West Bank has been going on ever since. We see a massive military operation in the Gaza Strip and thousands of people being killed and displaced. Here in the West Bank, it has been going on, since the beginning of the year, at least. We have seen lots of massive attacks against Palestinians by the Israeli army, by the Israeli settlers. Everyone has seen the images coming from Hawara, which is south of Nablus, where settlers have set fire to Palestinian houses and Palestinian shops and so on. So this has been, and no one talks about the West Bank. Only when there's a massive operation in the Gaza Strip and lots of people have been killed, then the story breaks. But the story is ongoing here in the West Bank. Now I'm in Ramallah. I just dropped my daughter to school, who was able to go, today to school for a face-to-face classes. On Saturday, she could not go there because the Israelis were just inside Ramallah arresting some Palestinians. So,
Walid, I have to leave it there, but I just want to thank you. I know you're on the West Bank. I know it's a difficult time for you, but I appreciate your honesty and I appreciate you being part of Talk Today. It's 6:15, and that reminds me of my good friend Charlotte, whose kids can't go to school in London because of anti-Semitic attacks. This whole thing is such a horrible situation.